Sure did. What's the 441 Martians? Eat the thumbs up. How y'all living today? Peace, love, light, all that goodness. I'm your Astro tour guide, Wise Eye. Another installment of Wise Vibes. We're talking about spirit animals today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do the totem animals. We're going to tap into domestic animals. We're gonna package up animals in this introduction right here. And I'm thinking about probably branching off and doing more in-depth, specific alignment of animal energies. But this is a nice unfold of spirit guides and how they act and interact amongst us as avatars on this 3D realm. So let's get right into it. Let's jump into the first slide. So you got Genesis, Noah's Ark. That's where it all began, y'all. Or at least that's what they told us. You know what I'm saying? That's what they told us. So if you dive into Genesis, you peep the scene how God is creating earth. Now you have Adam and Eve in the beginning of the Genesis. Then the serpent bit the apple, or serpent made Eve bite the apple. Blah, blah, blah. You jump into Noah, which is what, the 6th chapter. And God builds a covenant with him. And that covenant comes in the form of this ark, where he is able to live amongst these livestock, live amongst the food, live amongst the lineage and the nation that he is creating. That's the covenant of God. You know, it's an agreement to care, take, and handle God's gifts with care. So we shall have dominion over the land and the animals. And this covenant is to protect and preserve the earth, because God said, I'm flooding this shit. And when you guys come out of this ark, it'll be a totally new land. It'll be for you, for your family, for your nation, for your animals. You shall have dominion and rights to the land, birthrights as such. So he had 3 sons. He had Shem, Ham, and Cashapp. And that's a whole nother story as to who those 3 people are, because those are essentially lineages of separate, if you would, races or cultures. But we'll stay on the spirit animals. We'll tackle that on another day. Next slide. So, from the spirit, animals are used as guides. Each animal connects us to a primal force of innate knowing in alignment with the earth's connection. Realization that we have each element of these animals' energies. We operate in parallel. This ties in directly with your astrology makeup, which could be, a water sign or earth sign. And even the archetypes such as Leo, they have a distinct connection to lions and that core energy. A Leo is like so parallel to being a lion. So we'll tap into that in the next few slides. The golden compass is a great visual on how animals aid and assist us through our journey. So that's homegirl on the polar bear. And this is a deep movie. The Golden Compass, that's a deep movie as far as getting a overstanding or about what animals may and can do for you in this world. Because, like I just spoke upon, we have dominion over the entire land. And in such, we are reflections of everything that exists on land. Not the things that we have created, the things that naturally exist in this 3D realm without human destruction, because whatever we create, we destruct something first, naturally living, and we disturb the ecosystem in so many different ways that half of these people don't even understand. But it's a connection and a symbiotic understanding that you make up nature. So, quick example, a particular way that a colony of ants live, it can be aligned with the way that we correlate a what you call a sweatshop, where they make the products, or they're boxing or shipping or whatever. Okay, they even also align with ranks in the military, you know what I mean? So certain ants are worker ants, they go out to the field. Certain ants are colony ants, they protect the home base. Other ants are mating ants, and they mate with the queen. They make sure the queen is all good down in the bottom of the ant pile. But if you examine each animal and how they live, they have a distinct, innate knowing. Just for example, we got the bear right here. They have a very distinct knowing when it comes to their sense of smell. So you'll find them digging through ice and being able to smell, you know what I'm saying, through ice, and, perch the ice and get a sea lion or sea pup, or, whatever they eat. So check out the Golden Compass to give you a little idea. They call the spirit animals daemons or demons. Damians. And that's an interesting correlation, because a demon is said to lead you to your destiny, or through the fire into your destiny, if you follow what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? A demon is usually from hell, is what we think. And we're on hell. This is a 3D existence that involves us to go through as much pain, trauma, and stress. It requires us just as much of that as it does happiness, joy, and, love. There's a full 360 view when you're on this realm, and the existence can be harsh, traumatic, and it's like destitute. It's like destitute out here. As crowded as this shit is, still destitute when you're a far out individual like myself. You come down here for an experience that is usually required of you, and depending on what level you're on, you deal with a more turbulent existence. So tapping into nature, tapping into spirit animals, spirit guides, all those different things become more and more important the deeper that you get into your existence. Now, some people don't believe in reincarnation, whatever you got to think. But as far as me and my perspective, let's understand it like this. There's baby souls, then there's OG souls, then there's reincarnated master souls. There's levels to this soul walk, and your spirit leads you through such. So spirits are all forms, all shapes, all sizes, because there's unseen spirit attached to every living being that exists. So that will mean that a tree has a spirit. That will mean that a rose has a spirit. That will mean that the bee, that will mean that the dolphin, that will mean that the lynx with the big ears, the cat looking thing, they all have spirit connected to their existence. You know what I'm saying? So you're either going to allow spirit to lead you or mislead you. So that's a discernment where you're able to connect and you're able to understand what that spirit is doing, saying, and asking of you. If you ever watched Avatar, the Blue People, the movie, they connect their tails to the dragon tails and they instantly lock souls. But if you're not able to tame that dragon soul or spirit, then they rebel or rebuke you and they don't allow you to attach to them. So it's similar in energy when you're involving yourself out here. You know how you see people get attacked by animals? That means they was like, hell no, you ain't attaching to me. Uh-oh, I'm breaking my silence. Next slide, y'all. Elements. The elements. To observe how or where an element is guiding you, one may need to identify the element that it rules. So on the left, I got fire, water, ground, and air elements, courtesy of Avatar. This is not the Blue People. This is the Nickelodeon special with Aang, Katara, and Sokka, and all the rest of them. But if you analyze this TV show, this is a good depiction on how you can play with the elements or work with the elements. And these are the 4 basic elements. You also have that ether energy, which is that unseen potential, which is more metaphysical and just as important as these 4, but they don't focus so much on such in these TV shows. But to practically understand animals, you would, like I was just explaining, understand how they act, react to the world. How do they maneuver? How do they naturally eat? How do they naturally spend their time and their day? Are they busy animals or do they lay around all day? Are they, flying around or are they crawling around or are they digging? It's different. It's different modalities for each animal. So first you identify which kind of creature are they. That air element, which would be a bird, which would be a hawk, which is all in the bird categories. You know what I'm saying? Or are you looking at the ground animals, where ground animals are, I can't even think of a good one. What's a good ground animal? You got this aardvark right here. We'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Or porcupine, groundhog. You know what I'm saying? Even fox. I think a fox would be a ground animal. It might be a fire element too. I don't know. Just do some research after I get off of this. What y'all think? Is a fox a fire element or a ground element? They do a lot of digging, but they're very smart and creative with the way that they eat and live. So we'll give them half and half. But what does that element ask you to do? Because if it's a fire, it's a creation. If it's an air element, it's a thought. If it's a ground element, it's more like strength. It's more like getting attached to something to hold you together. If it's a water element, it may be more dreamy, may be unseen in the ground. You got to go underwater, which would be like a fantasy realm, you know what I mean? But you will analyze how each animal acts. So let's do a little drill. We see elephants. And elephants, they're super wise, super smart animals. Nothing can even mess with the elephant. What's going to mess with the elephant? They can stomp a little ass lion out the way. They'll stomp anything. I don't think nothing can harm an element, but they're a fire element. They have a wise knowing about them because they kind of like know everything about the jungle. Nothing can mess with them. So they already walk around knowing as such. So how do they receive their food? They go to the water hose and use the hose to gain water. They same thing with that hose. They go up to the top of the trees. They grabbing berries, grabbing all kind of certain fruits, whatever at the top of the tree, some shrubbery. So they have a good mixed diet. So they're keepers of the earth. They're not gonna allow no bullshit to happen in the jungle. They're super wise, super old. They live long. They're like dinosaurs. So you give yourself a basis to work with when it comes to what is the animal doing, what does the animal do, how do they do it, and then you look at that and you receive or an alignment with how you correlate in the world. Same thing with this sloth. The sloth is super slow, super chill. You know what I'm saying? He's got them claws. He don't play around. He's slow to get to his food. He'll eat shrubbery. He'll eat bugs. He's still long enough to eat another animal that mistakes them for a stoned, piece of inanimate object in the jungle that they can crawl across, and then they end up getting eaten. So they have like a trickery energy in their grounding. But if you're dealing with birds, you're dealing with vultures, crows, you're dealing with red cardinals, you're dealing with orange orioles, you're dealing with black and white and red woodpeckers, you're dealing with tan doves, all those are thoughts. Or maybe dropping off messages, they're messengers. You know how you give a bird a message? Then he flies off to the other side of the world, drops it off over in Costa Rica. That ain't the other side of the world, but you know what I'm saying. They have that messenger energy. You feel me? If you're dealing with, like I said, that underwater energy, a fish, shark, that whale, those energies are like, they go with the flow. And they're like trapped in water, but there's such a huge world in water. They're not trapped. They go with whatever flow the water has. So they swim around, exploring and enjoying. Sometimes they just sit there and they coast, but most of the time they're, exploring. And it's an unseen type of energy that wants to involve the fantasy energy, the watery element of such. So get into your dreamy element. Next slide. Totem animals, quick little breakdown on how the natives of America involve themselves with animals. And they deal with the totems, and they deal with, spirit of the animal. So, they really align themselves with the connectivity of the earth, and as which what comes from it, they wear it on their skin. So there wasn't usually hunting or overkilling animals. They were only using particular amounts of animals, or when animals die in excess, they took their fur. They took the feathers of passed away birds, and they decorated their outfit with such, and they gave themselves a connection to these animals. They would, if they found a bear, they would put their head on their crown, and they would have the back as a cape, all that type of thing to keep them warm, and then also give them the same spirit of the animal. The totems come from it's being said that they have 9 specific animals tied to your being. So that's interesting. I didn't really get deep into that, but I want to tap into how or why they deal with 9 specific, because 9 is the energy of right before completion. It's like that highest volume. It's like the peak or the catalyst. And then you go down to 10. 10 is like completion, like safe, end of the road. So totem animals, you build totem animals for protection, honor, or memorial. So they might be on a burial site, or they might be in a space where they're protecting an area. It might be an ugly scarecrow, so that certain animals even are afraid to approach. From the distance, they may think that it's something, and they don't approach or even honor. Memorials, same thing. Burial, same thing. But sometimes these ones I just Google, but they just seem to have, a few little different attributes. But a lot of times you'll see the entire pole from bottom to top is full of different attributes, faces, different eyes, different feathers, different wings, beaks, animals. And that's because it's said to be you all encapsulated in one being. So you have 9 specific animals tied to your being. They're all going to attach to that totem. And you as an avatar, that totem, quote unquote, you're possessing, and you're able to infiltrate the energy. Infiltrate would just mean get into the energy. And you're able to use it as you see fit, or as the animal that you're receiving it from see fit. So like a wolf, for example. Wolf is leader, pack driven. They're all about the team. They are super smart, super cunning, and they don't back down from shit. So if you're going to align yourself with that wolf energy, that's how you would see the parallel. You know what I mean? You would get into that state of mind to attack or attach to the physical. Hope that makes sense. Next slide. So cats. So cats are majestic animals, and they're the only pet that climbs through the ecosystem in size all the way up to the apex predator, and that's in different areas, because jaguars in the Central Americas, they're the apex of the food chain. Then you get in Africa, lions are the apex of the food chain. Then in Asia, certain parts of Asia, the tiger is the apex of the food chain. And then in even certain areas of the Northern Americas, you have lynx or leopards or pumas, and they're apex of their own ecosystem. And it's interesting how this is a truth. They're the only animal that goes from the smallest such animal, they live in our homes, all the way up to huge, gigantic kings of the jungle. So they have a beautiful essence and aura that has traveled from culture to culture, and each culture seems to use them or adore them for different reasons. But if you notice, cats are never homeless. Even when they're homeless, put a dog out and put a cat out, and then you'll see which one will last longer. The dog, I guarantee, will die because he's probably going to get eaten by a coyote. Cat, not so much. He's going to get his way, whatever, however, whenever. You know what I mean? They may be, I'm not a huge cat person, but I do follow how cats maneuver, and I notice stray cats stray cats seem to be protectors of an area or a person or something. You know, like black cats. And let's talk about black cats while we're speaking on cats. Black cats are said to have been, bad luck. And ooh, don't let a black cat cross your path. But it is the exact opposite to know that a black cat is rare. Because if you think about, just for one example, the Black Panther. The Black Panther is merely a rare version of the jaguar, and they have distinct differences when it comes to the Black Panther and the jaguar. But in totality, the Black Panther is just a rare version of the jag. And if you ever follow your day-to-day, and if you ever seen a black cat cross your path, did you get bad luck or did you get good luck? Me personally, a lot of black cats cross my path, and I can recall homeless, quote-unquote, cats always living near my house. Always. And I'm knowing that they're protectors of some type of energy because they are divine beings. If you follow how a cat moves, lives, and, goes through their day, they're not worried about nothing. They're not worried about nothing. You know what I mean? They can develop a keen sense of hunting skills. They can develop a keen sense of laziness. But they have a huge balance. So they're super predators, but they're super lazy. So all they do is pray and chill. Pray and chill. Pray and chill. They don't do nothing. And try to get a cat to play like a dog and go fetch. Never gonna happen. They might play around with you. You might be sitting in your house. Cat might just come out and smack the life out of you. Pop, 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 pop. You don't know what happened. Because cat got something on his mind that you had no idea was going on. And if you're not tapped in with that cat or you're doing something spiritually wrong, they're going to spiritually attack you. So never stare at a cat because you never know who they belong to spiritually. So let's get into the next slide. Domestic animals. Okay, so farm animals, house animals. In the ancient times, the Moors arrived in Europe to train the natives of Europe how to live inside home. They often were sick because they lived with the livestock and animals. The animals, it's cute to have pets. But living inside the home with the pets, it was not the made element. And it was not the direct use for an animal. So let's think about it naturally. Farm animals and dogs. Dogs on a farm, they're pretty reliable. Think about a dog in a house. They're going to tear your shit up. I don't give a fuck what you say to me. Your dog has peed, pooped, ripped, clawed, tore some shit up in your house. No doubt about it. Ain't no way, no how to keep a wild animal in your house and not experience it. So the farm animals, a dog, he may corral the sheep or the goats. Or he may walk around with you so that if there's a wild boar or a wild snake or a wild fox, he's able to protect you from the situation and deter you from danger, which he is literally guiding you to safety. You feel me? You got a farm mouse versus a house mouse. And I wish I had did more research because I just thought about something. There's a movie or a book, not a book. There's a book called House Mouse versus not versus the House Mouse and the Field Mouse. It wasn't versus, but it was called something like that. Them two mice, and I can't remember, but the field mice, he had like a long journey, and he had like a story to tell. I gotta do some research again on that, but just to experience how mice build an ecosystem out in the wild. You take the mice out, that means the snakes don't eat. That means the cats or the lynx or the panthers don't eat. That means a lot of particular animals don't eat. So you put them in a garage and put them in a cage, then what you're doing. You just watching and observing them. I don't, and this is no diss to nobody who has pets. Do what you must, do what you like, do what makes you happy. But we're speaking on how animals are properly viewed in this world, because you have dominion over these animals. So these animals are not your slaves. They are, like you have camels or goats or certain livestock, they do certain jobs. Those things are in essence true of creation. Some of those animals are created for food, but you have to be aware of how you're involving yourself with nature. Put a plant in your house. A plant is going to provide a natural, how do I say this with some scientific words? Fuck all that. Put a put a plant in your house, and the oxygen that it gives off, you're allowed to breathe. Boom. Logical, simple understanding of bringing something living into your house to aid and assist you for life. So think about it like this. If you're bringing a dog into your house, yeah, I've heard that their mouth is cleaner than a human mouth. But I tell you this much, their feet that walk outside after they take a piss or a shiggy duggy do, and they're running around all the whole yard, and they run back in your house, and they put their paws up on your bed and get up in your bed. That's like you laying on the floor in your bed. Does that make sense? That's like you laying outside on the floor inside of your bed, because you just allowed an animal to run around the outside of the natural existence where bacteria is a part of the ecosystem, and bacteria and fungus is a part of the grass and the vegetation. And now this dog has fleas, bugs attached to his fur, his skin. Now he comes inside the home. Now granted, you clean the dog, great, whatever. But this animal brings a different experience into the living, breathing air of your house, of your home. It's enough to live with another human. It's enough already. But when you're bringing an animal in to be domesticated, you're then what? Because what? I need somebody to comment down in the bottom about animals. Because people will tell me that they're more, what is the word? Man's best friend, and they're more dependable than a human. Yeah, you're fucking right. They're more dependable than a human because they're made to protect you out in the world of nature. Like I said, if a damn puma runs up, they're gonna eat the dog first. I keep seeing all these I keep seeing these videos of somebody's dog getting caught by a damn kangaroo. and then the human goes out and saves the kangaroo. I read about this. One of these humans got his jaw broken or his rib broken or something from the kangaroo trying to save his dog. And that's what your ass get. Leave that dog alone. Leave that kangaroo alone. That kangaroo drowned that dog. Fuck him. I don't want to be rude to y'all dog lovers, man. I know y'all love y'all dogs. Because the DNA of a Caucasian and an Asian involves animal genomes such as a dog, rat, pig, and a monkey. If you don't believe me, look it up. And you're going to do a little more than just Google it. You're going to need to do some real research. But look it up. You'll find out that the human genome is spliced with particular animals. And this will give you the understanding as to why Caucasians and Asians have thin, straight hair, stringy hair. And when they sweat, they smell a different way, similar to animals. And this is nothing disrespectful or racist. This is all scientific facts. Look at that lady's hair. Look at her hair. Hair straight as this prairie dog on the left. Straight as this mice in the bottom. Name a black person's hair, and these are just stated words, names, because we're not black, or they're not black. The natives to America, they have nice, thick, silky, or wool-like hair. One or the other is usually wool-like, or it's like real thick and silky-like. You have an Asian's hair. He has like real thin, like you run your fingers through the hair, nothing's gonna get caught up. They don't even need to comb their hair. Why? There's no coil to it. The hair coils less and less, the less connected to the earth you are. So this is why 6 etheric beings are Asians, Caucasians, and, different Spanish people. But the Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, so-called black man, the melanated beings of the world, they're 9 etheric, which means they have more attachment to the earth as a divine protector, number one, but also as a direct alliance and direct keeper of the earth. They're able to talk directly to the earth. So sometimes this spirit animal thing may go over particular people's heads because maybe they don't connect to animals in the divine way that they should. They have pet monkeys in their house, and he got a pet gerbil cage down in his basement, and it smell like gerbil ass when you go down there, and whatever. Next slide, because we ain't done yet. Esau and Jacob. So, like I said, this is nothing racist. This is nothing to be discriminatory. I love all my people, my Asians, my blacks, my melanated beings, my whites, so-called. All these people, I love them all. They all have a particular existence specific to their culture or creed or DNA. So go back to the Bible. We got Esau and Jacob. Esau was a so-called white man. He's a hunter and profane fornicator. He was exploring and always destroying. It was said in the Bible that he was hated by the Lord. And much different was Jacob. Jacob was a native to the land, and he cultivated, he protected, and he provided for the land. And he was said to be loved by the Lord. Esau would go out and just involve himself with destruction of earth, and Jacob was the opposite. If you pay attention to who Esau was, Esau had red hair, and we all know that that's a so-called white man, And the reason that God hated, or the Lord hated, this Esau is not because he was a so-called white man or the color of his skin, because God created all colors and creeds, and they're involved in that Noah's story. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And those 3 are different lineages of beings. So, like I said, that's a whole nother story, but do some research on your own. Find out who the divine rights go to. The divine rights go to the first being, the firstborn son, which is Shem. Shem is a Jacob type energy, a native to the land. And the native will take care and have dominion over the covenant of God. They will not go, out hunting, gathering for no reason. Hunter-gatherers are not in appropriate context. Hunters, they go and gather excess. Natives, they live on the land, and they know that when they're hungry, they're able to go out and retrieve food. When when they need fur, they're able to go out and retrieve wool from a sheep, or even a dead fox that you can skin. You can heat up, and then you can begin to wear the skin. There's 2 different people in this world. There's an Esau, and then there's a Jacob. So you want to involve yourself with the covenant of God and not the destruction of the earth. Next slide. Because are you a Esau or are you a Jacob? And you see on the left, you see this little bitty girl out hunting, a deer buck with her father. And they're just skinning and grinning. I don't know why you would be that happy to catch and kill an animal. I don't know. I've been fishing, Now, I've been fishing 1 or 2 ways. I go fishing for fun. We catch the fish, and we pack them up, put them in the freezer, and we eating them. So maybe they're eating the deer meat, but I'm not super excited about catching a fish. I'm like, okay, great. And then sometimes, I haven't been fishing in a long time thinking about it, but sometimes we would fish, and then we would catch them, take them off the hook, and throw them right back in the water. Let them live, let them do their thing. We just hunting for sport. We're not trying to kill nobody, do nothing wrong to nobody. But if you see my man right here, look at this. What the hell he got going on here? That's scary to me. And what, like the taxidermy is too much. It's too much. Why do you have a deer buck on your head, head on your wall? Like, this is your office in your house? Like, why? Excuse me, y'all. That just made me sleepy looking at this craziness. But why would you need to stuff these animals and put them in your house? It's like an egoic type of energy. You know what I'm saying? And look at this. Look at them. Look at them. They done killed this buck. I don't know if they eating it. I don't know if they just, you know what I mean? They got these. It's not my style. And then look at my girl. She got on a damn ankle monitor. This is a neck monitor, though. It looked like this. Look just like this. Same thing. Ankle monitor. Same thing. What the hell? So, are you an Esau or are you a Jacob? Because Jacob would not put these tracking devices on their animals. They know that the animals will live as long as they don't mess with their environment. So what happens is these scientists, these settlers, they come in and pillage villages, pillage lands, pillage ecosystems. and they're killing certain parts of a ecosystem just so they can put up a Starbucks, just so we can put up a mall and everybody walk around the mall and buy some bullshit we don't need. You know what I mean? So now a certain animal is about to be extinct. So now they have to go out and search, and they have to so-called save the whales, save the animals. But if you want put in oil rigs that were polluting the ocean, you won't have to save the orcas. You won't have to save the whales. You won't have to save the lions in their natural habitat if you're not involving pillaging their land. If you're not hunting the tigers for their skin and their pretty fur or pretty patterns, then you won't have to save the Siberian. You understand how this all works? So are you a Esau? Are you a Jacob? Because spirit animals lead you to your destiny, lead you to your freedom. And if you're killing them and putting their body or their carcass in your damn den so that you can walk around and they looking at you while you're walking around, that's not a spirit animal guidance. It's not a guidance, if you will. Next slide. Because the zoo is the same thing. The zoo and the circus, although cute, like having a pet in your house, it's not naturally aligned, and it can be another egoic act of cruelty to nature and its gifts. Look at these jaguars, man. You think they happy sitting up in there? Somebody call themselves putting them in the zoo so we can go look at them and pay $15 per person. Take my whole family now. I'm spending $88. Then when I get in there, I'm spending $88 more to feed my family. Then I'm spending $16 more for some food to feed the animals that they got locked up. Then I'm walking out and I'm spending $30 for a stuffed animal, turtle, and a stuffed animal this. You understand how the zoo fucking works, y'all? Fuck that zoo and the circus. They bring in the circus all around the fucking world so that we can watch Dumbo ride on a damn tripod, a tricycle. This shit is bullshit, y'all. I don't give a fuck what y'all think, because you're really harming these animals. We're putting fucking whales and sharks in a planetarium so that we can look at them. Now, if we want to look at them, maybe we should just watch them on TV, because you got enough scientists, you got enough wild, I'm about to say something, you got enough wild people to involve themselves in that type of energy. Filming, getting close up, exploring. Us, and I say us as 9 etheric beings, we have dominion over this world. There's no need to explore shit. We know what's out there. It's interesting to study and to take notes. That's a difference between exploring. Exploring is, we're going to go here and we're going to kill 1,000 whales to figure out how in the hell do they live. And then when they get near extinction, we're going to make a video about we need to raise some money to save the whales. Send us your money. Send us your care. Send us your this. So we can put it into this Save the Orcas project. You understand how this world is, man? Do y'all understand what I'm trying to say to y'all? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? We don't need pets in our house. Pets don't belong in our house. Okay, maybe you got one at your house, in your backyard. Maybe your dog is at your farm. Maybe he has his own little house in the backyard. You know, that makes sense. When you come out, he come out. And when you in the house, he out doing his thing. And when he want to go in this little dog house that you domesticated for him, he go up into his dog house because he's smart enough to do it. But most dogs live in packs and they wild and they earn their keep. Dogs that we raise up, they 100% dependent on us. Think about it. You live in an apartment. You on the 6th floor. You done brought a dog. You can't even afford a whole house, but you got a dog in an apartment with you that got a now time bathroom breaks. You got to go all the way downstairs and take them on a walk. Take them on a motherfucking fresh breath of air. Let them go play. Instead of them naturally having a backyard or naturally having a farm to play on. You understand how backwards this shit is, y'all? Now, granted, I give you cats. Cats are cool animals to keep in the house. That's really, honestly, one of the only animals I can see realistically being needed in the house. Because you know why? They have mice. They have different animals try to invade your house. And you can, deflect with cats. Cats are not going to allow that to happen. So, those type of things, cool. All I'm saying, I digress with that, but all I'm saying is the zoo, the circus, the pets, all these things do not align with divine lineage or divine connection to nature. You're perverting or you're adjusting nature into a circumvented, creation that is capitalistic. Nobody cares about the apes in the zoo. They just want to look at them. They be in there locked up, mad as hell, fighting each other. It's like going to a jail and watching men, it's like watching men who have come from a destructive existence, a project. They fighting and killing each other. They killed somebody in a place where their survival is necessary. Now they're put into a jail, and the killers amongst each other, they're fighting amongst each other. And then the government is making money off of each body that they hold in a jail cell. And then each body is producing money on top of that because they calling with the collect phone, or they're buying commissary off of the food list, or their family is buying and sending them letters, which costs, it costs everything. So you want to align with spirit animals in a practical way. Let's go back to, before we get out of here, let's go back to, not him. Not him either. Right there. Let's go back to the element. So, like I said, look at your astrology. You want to understand, what is your astrology makeup? Is it a lot of water energy? Is it a lot of fire energy? Is it a lot of air energy? Is it a lot of grounding? So when you're dealing with the elements, observe the element that you have most in, or whatever percentage it is, breakdown that will show you the levels of creation, thinking, grounding, or dreaming that you may involve yourself in this lifetime or this experience that you're here to dwell in. So, astrologically speaking, you can learn which animal belongs to you. You know what I mean? Last slide, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. This is my little picture of spirit animals, certain ones that may connect to me. And I like to do stuff like this because it helps me understand who I may be or what I connect to on a mirror flip in this realm of wondrous, futuristic, dreamy, life. You just got to look for it. A lot of us be looking at Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and all that bullshit. We don't even look at it. the beauty of the trees, the leaves, the birds, the owls. You know what I mean? People may think that owls are bad luck because the way they look or how scary they are. But in reality, what is an owl? An owl is one of the wisest animals in the forest. You never even see an owl. You're never gonna see an owl. You may hear an owl sometimes, once in a blue moon, but they don't talk much. They don't speak much. But I bet you this: they know everything that's going on in the forest because it's so quiet. They observe more than they speak. You know what I mean? So you just have to do your own research and find out what connects to you as a spirit animal and why. And how can you use that in a practical mindset throughout a day-to-day. Because walking your dog on a leash is not a spirit guide. That dog is going to take you to the furthest hydrant it could find so it could take a piss. So make it make sense, family. Make it make sense when you out here living in this 3D realm and they're cloning dogs so that you can buy another one. A $4,000 They selling it to your dumb ass. Because you love dogs more than you love humans. That don't make sense. Like, adopt a human. Why have a dog? What's a dog doing? Because you got to feed it. They can't even talk to you. They look at you. And you can pet it. They can't pet you. They can't do shit to you. They can't have sex with you. They can't do nothing. So where do you find solace? Where do you find peace and harmony? Now, maybe lonely people or people that can't get along. But if we clean this world up and we clean the existence up, things would make more sense. There won't be lonely people because there'll be people to be with people instead of people with dogs. You know, I go out here, I walk my son outside, man, I'm kicking it. And I'll see more people outside with a dog than a kid. So that means they got their kids in the house, not experiencing nothing. But they'll take their dog out so they can piss and shit and bring them back in the house. It just don't make sense, family. If you make it make sense for me, put it in the comments and we can have a good conversation about it. But until then, spirit animals are this. They are here for you to learn. They are here for you to coalesce and involve yourself with an alignment of what these animals do. You know, cobras, their backs are straight and their alignment is firm, and they are looking for a target, or they have been threatened by something that is targeting them. So now they're at a standstill. They're rising, their energy is rising, and they will attack. And that's a Kundalini reference, your chakra bodies and your system that is involving your balance of your sexual prowess that most of us squander away on pornography or useless sex. So you want to, like I said, just understand what animals do. Rabbits, they're like new starts. You see them at the beginning of spring usually. You see them all over the year time frame, but a lot of times they be in the beginning of the year. New starts. So, peace, love, and light. I'm your Astro tour guide, Wise Eye. Don't shoot the messenger. This is all from divine source. Peace, love, and light, y'all. I'll talk to y'all next vibe. Stay wise.